Modern dating is broken, so I did something different. My name is KJ. Some people will refer to me as a player, others might refer to me as a fuckboy. Me,
I like to go by a chill guy.
now meet Dr. Jana Vangalova. Will we be able to solve modern dating or just cause World War III? If you're a man navigating dating in 2025, this video will literally change the way you think, act, and proceed with dating from here on out.
That guys are no longer approaching women in public. It is, and you could argue for better or worse. I would argue it's for the worse.
Hey, she's spitting, bro. She's saying some real shit.
Nah, but on a serious note, most guys don't want to approach anymore. It's not just because of the fear of the Me Too movement. It's really the fear of looking weird, stupid, and creepy in the social media age. Nobody wants to approach a girl and then see, an hour later after he gets her Instagram and she doesn't follow him back,
Oh, this creepy ass guy approached me with his bald, big head, his fucking small.
no guy wants to be publicly embarrassed. That's why I have sympathy for guys who don't or can't approach women, because there is real nerves behind that. Like, I do it all the time, but it's like, I'm also very handsome. I'm also very tall. I'm also very charismatic. The average guy is not the same way, so I can accept and understand why guys are fearful to go out and approach nowadays, especially when, you can sit on your ass on a toilet and message your future girlfriend or your future girl you're gonna hook up with via Tinder. The way you start a relationship is usually how it's gonna go from there. So if you start your relationship with lustful, dumb messages, and you're expecting that to grow into something very beautiful, good luck.
So because of greater awareness around sexual harassment, sexual abuse, especially post Me Too, there's more realizations that the way people have approached, especially the way men often approach women in these non-designated flirting areas, can come across in a way that makes women feel unsafe. And I would love it if we brought it back, but in a way that does not make people feel unsafe or threatened.
You're not gonna get both. You're not gonna have guys risking looking stupid, looking dumb, getting embarrassed, but at the same time, you only want them to approach when it's okay and convenient for you. It's just not gonna happen. I think that with approaching, every person comes from a different background. So what might be weird or what might be different for somebody may not be for another person. For example, if I take some dude from the hood and I have him go approach a girl inside, a fucking suburban Target, the way he's gonna approach her may offend her. It may turn her off because she might not be used to a guy being so straightforward with her. She might not like that. If you want more men to approach, which is beneficial for society, you're gonna have to run the risk of some people being offended, feeling weird, or being creeped out. That's just what it is. But I'm sure the majority of women would deal with that if it meant they could find the kind of guy they were looking for a lot easier than having to swipe endlessly on apps with thousands of men flooding them in their DMs.
What's important is physical attraction versus emotional attraction. For a long-term relationship, emotional attraction is really, really important. That's what sustains
She's right.
us over
She's right.
the term.
What's up, Kat?
Trust, the connection,
Yep.
intimacy, all of that is really important to have. So if you're gonna date someone for a long time, if you're gonna marry them, have kids with them, settle down, make sure you have emotional
That's true.
and connection. Now the physical attraction is a bit more of it depends. It's really, really important for some people,
Men.
and far less important to other people.
Women.
It's also something that's a lot more important in the beginning of the relationship. It often gets people excited about each other, but then over time, it's just not that important.
All right, coach, I don't really know about that one. I really think that, like, a man who's looking for something serious is really going to be picky on who he's going to have seriously. Like, I'm not trying to be judgmental, but the men that I've met who have been seriously committed to getting married and finding their true one without any fuck shit going on the side, the majority of women right now don't qualify for that. Shorty, I see you on a yacht in Dubai. What makes you think that a man who's had to be celibate, who's had to be disciplined, is gonna go for someone who's not showing those same traits? Now, from my experience, the kind of girl he's looking for, most likely, he won't be able to find her on social media or really active like that. Those girls, you're gonna find them out in real life.
A Reddit user asks, are situationships really changing the dating game, and why do people put up with them? So first, what is a
I'm responsible for
situationship?
this.
It's one of these ongoing sexual and maybe even romantic relationships, but that don't really have a clear definition and there's no clear commitment around them. If you don't want to get stuck in a situationship, then don't allow it to happen. I mean, situationships exist because usually they work for one person who's happy to have that sort of undefined state of being, and they usually don't work for the other person who would like to have a bit more definition, but they're just not getting it, and for one reason or another putting up with it. And you could argue it's not really ethical if one person knows that the other person is not really enjoying.
I can't lie. I've been, unfortunately, guilty of contributing to this nonsense. Anytime you have a society that's more focused on having fun than actually building a family or building our family structures, you're never gonna have a good society that way. And right now, it's like
The state of dating right now is like a pure reflection of hookup culture.
Remainder 1 asks, does anyone have tips on how to handle rejection in a healthy way? First and foremost, accept rejection gracefully. It's
Right.
never fun to get rejected.
Facts.
It's also part of life. And
Right.
you have to learn how to take it in stride. Try not to take it personally.
You can't take it
often
personally.
It's not personal. It has to do with not being compatible, not being the right time, or simply other circumstances. So be compassionate toward yourself, feel your feelings, but don't go.
as somebody who's taken hundreds, if not thousands of L's and being rejected many times, you can't take it personally. That's the number one key. Because if you take it personally, you're just putting too much. If you know all these girls have 1,000 options, you know that there's so much going on in the world. What makes you think that you're important enough to actually be the reason why she's curving you? Like, she might just be curving you because she has a boyfriend. She might be going through something. She might be having a bad day. She might not have had enough conversation with you. Stop putting it on yourself. It's not that serious. The biggest thing I can say is this. Even if you do get rejected, realize that you're not sitting around waiting for an opportunity. You just try to make something happen. I'd much rather feel inadequate by getting rejected than feel average because I didn't do anything at all.
SpecRex asks, can we define the term boy? It's an important term. Boy is someone, typically male, who likes to pursue multiple sexual relationships simultaneously, not really put in a lot of or any emotional commitment into them, which in and of itself is not necessarily a bad thing. The key piece about the boy is that he usually does it with some lying and cheating and not being honest about his intentions, so there's manipulation, which is why it's often a disparaging kind of term.
But in my defense, I'm honest. I don't ever be lying to girls just because I want to hit. I be telling them the damn truth. I be like, hey, yo, listen, this is what it is and this is what it's not. I'm gonna be honest with you so that way you can't get mad at me. But when it comes to women and their emotions, they can't separate the two. So when I'm being honest and telling them that this is what it is, they instantly inflate anything that I say that makes it even seem like it's possible for us to have a relationship or possible for us to have anything more than what we're doing. And so I get deemed a fuckboy because I'm just not looking for a commitment with any girl that I'm with. And hey, I'll wear it, I guess.
How do you decide if you're settling or being realistic with your expectations? It's a good question. We can't have everything. Something is gonna have to give, but you have to know yourself so that you know what your core needs in a relationship are. You're likely settling if you're ongoingly unfulfilled, resentful, if you feel like you're compromising on your core values, if you are staying in a relationship mainly because you fear of being alone, and you're being realistic if you're making some compromises on certain preferences, if most of the time in the relationship you feel like your core needs are being met and you are generally happy and satisfied. Essex on
Most people think it's settling when they don't get 100% of what they want. Nowadays, people's core values are so superficial, so dumb, so all over the place that any little red flag or anything that marks off on one thing that they want, they instantly, put them in a box.
Would you rather be ghosted or have someone tell you why they don't want to see or talk to you again? Well, it depends. People
Neither.
have different preferences, and there's no real research asking people what they would prefer so that we know what the majority is. My best sense from talking to students and clients is that most people prefer to have some sort of indication that the person doesn't want to see them again. So
I don't really care if you ghost me, you tell me why. It doesn't change the outcome. My goal was to get to know you, get to actually court you, and actually have something going on from here on out. And if you don't want that, that is what it is. I'm not going to sit here and beg for you to explain to me why you don't want me. Your silence was loud enough to me. So I'm not going to sit here and ponder or try to get some closure on a situation that doesn't need it.
Possible to grow into loving someone? Absolutely yes. Love has
How many options they got?
Especially the way we do love and relationships in the West. The first part is that crazy infatuation when we lose our minds over this new person. And then over time, that subsides and turns into this long-term attachment where we are in a calmer state, but we also know there's a lot more security, there's long-term care, we're invested in their well-being, they're invested in our well-being. It absolutely is possible, even sometimes when
I think it's possible to grow into loving somebody, but only if it's on a transactional basis. You need to have the foundation of your relationship built on a strong interest from each party. I think as a guy, you don't want a girl who had low interest in you to fall in love with you because there was nothing really real. If she only loves you because of what you can provide or the fact that you're providing stability, it's just one crack away from being destroyed. Whereas a girl who sees the real man in you, sees the real, God-like potential in you, she's gonna stick through hard times with you, and that's what you want. You don't want these girls who are fly-by-night ass women, bro. Same thing with women. You don't want these guys who only like you because you're attractive, you're a trophy wife. Because at the end of the day, if something, God forbid, happens to your health, you're gonna be on the sideline, and you don't want that.
When people in many cultures have arranged marriages, they start out with no infatuation. Very often, they barely even know each other. But over time, as they spend more time with each other, they grow into that attachment.
Right, but hold on. Yeah, people who are in arranged marriages can grow to love each other for sure. Neither party has had a long history of people they've dated and partnered with. Usually those parents and those households are very strict on who they're gonna date. They're not letting Ariba go out and party all night and go out to damn Miami and Dubai and do whatever she wants. They're keeping her in the house. They're keeping her ready for marriage. They're getting her ready for her billionaire husband. And then, throughout time, they start to get, more intimate and more close because this is a new experience, sexually, physically, emotionally. They never had this kind of thrill. They don't have anything to compare it to a lot of times. Especially, this is a huge problem that we're dealing with, especially when it comes to dating for women. There's too many options. And I'm not saying that to be be goofy. I'm just saying, even as men, if you have so many damn options, let's say when you get rich, right? Let's say when you get rich and you have 1,000 women who all kind of are the same. They all have the same personality. They all love Watch Island. They all like to, be out with their girls and drink all night. Why would you want to cuff just one of them when you could pretty much get the same kind of woman in multiple different flavors? And that's the issue. There's too many damn options.
People are really out here in relationships with no traveling together, no dates,
100%.
no spice, just arguments, sex, and going to sleep. What the are you doing? It's a great observation. There are a lot of people who are in low quality relationships. Why are people doing it? Often because they feel they don't have a better option, because they are afraid to put themselves back out there,
That's true.
because often they think that's all they deserve. A lot of us come from families and have these role models for what relationships are like that are not of a high quality relationship. And so, many of us are stuck in poor relationships. And if this is you, reconsider. Either work on getting that relationship to a much better level or move on and find someone who's...
Coming from my experience, I usually see this kind of shit happening with people who are just staying together because they've been dating for a long time. They had a high school relationship. This is one of those situations where neither party can walk away because neither of them have any real options like they want. Most of the time, it's average people who are just together because they have a kid together, they have long history together, and they don't want to be alone. If you're in a relationship and you're not fucking happy and you're not married, you shouldn't be in it. There's no reason why you should be in a marriage or a relationship and you're not having sex and you're not enjoying each other's company. There's way too much life to live for you to be doing some shit like that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video from two dating consultants. I think that more conversations, more, back and forth, at least on my side, are happening. It would help us understand how to move forward better. And as you guys can see, we usually, when it comes to men and women, we usually agree on the same things, but we just got to come together on the one way to go about it. I'm out of here. My name is KJ Black Ace. Peace.